Hey, welcome back to the channel. So today we have a different concept for some rule sets that I haven't seen before. Um, so I figured I'd give it a try, see what it turns out to be, and maybe it'll be interesting, and maybe you guys will enjoy it. So hopefully you do. Anyway, this one is called Copycat Cages by KebbieG, and there's only two rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply, or normal Sudoku and cage rules apply. So essentially every row, every column, and every 3x3 box contains digits 1 through 9. And for killer cages, every cage must sum to the value in the top left corner, and you cannot repeat digits within those cages. Now, our other kind of on top of all this rule set here is copycat cages. So the digits will appear in the maroon cages, they're all maroon, in the same order or in a reversed order as the other cages with the same total and size. So it just means if you have a couple of 15s like this, there's a 15 here and a 15 here, the order of the cages will be either the same or they'll be reversed. So in this instance, we've got an 8 here and a 6 here. So the 8 therefore would end up either being in one of these two because it has to be either reversed or in the same order. So those are the rule sets. They seem fairly simple to get going with. So let's give it a try and see what happens. So first thing, I think that 15 was quite a good cage where we could start at. We've got clearly, and kind of expand upon it instead of just saying, oh, this has to be a 6 right here and then move on. But any 3-cell cage that's in a line of any given, either up, down, whatever it can be, the middle cage is always going to be the same digit because you can't change whether, because it's the in-between one. So it's always going to be the middle number. So therefore, we can always say that if there's a digit given in the middle cage of a 3-cell, it's going to also be in the middle of the other one. What we can't say necessarily, though, is the location of the 8 specifically in this 15 type of cage, because it can either go here or here, because it could be 8, 6 something or 8, 6 something this way. So anyway, let's start putting in some digits and see what else we can find. We've got this 13 cage, same situation. We could put a 5 in here. What else do we have? What are the copycats? Now, the interesting thing is going to be, okay, so it says the other, I honestly don't recall if I read this out completely, but the rules say that the other cages are the same total and size. So I had a slight bit of confusion because you're looking at an 8. If you're just thinking about total, and there could be differences between the actual cages, but because it has to be total and size, this 3-cell cannot copycat the 4-cell, which makes complete sense. Now, this 4-cell to this 4-cell could very well be the copycat. If we're saying this is right to left and this is right to left, you look at or left to right going this way, there could be a correlation there. So we'll have to keep that in mind. And also our 18 cages where we have the 3 cells. Now this is the middle cell, so it looks like this would have to be a 1 and this would have to be a 1 because this is the middle cell of 3 cells. So therefore the middle cell in an 18 3-cell cage would always be the same. Now we can also look at this 18 cage up here and say, well, there has to be an 8 on one side of them, but there can't be 1 here because of Sudoku. So this would end up being the 8. I can't tell you which one of these is the 8, but we can just mark it real quick. So which other ones can we do fairly easily here? We've got a 14 cage that either has a 2 in one of these because of this one. This one has to have the 9 in the middle. Now, we can also start looking at our sum. I haven't even looked at the sum totals yet because we've had fairly, not simple, but we've had a quite deliberate way we can start filling in digits without even looking at those. But I'll get to the sum totals in a minute. But I'm going to continue in this track for now, just to see where we end up. So I just saw on this 15 cage, we also have this 8 looking here, so this must be an 8. Can we do anything else real quick before we switch gears? We can on this 13 cages. We got the 2. There has to be a 2 in it, but the 2 right here looks this, so this has to be a 2. And anything else before I move on? I don't see anything off the bat, so let's look at our totals, because we can get some more numbers just from totals, and then we can start filling things in. So this clearly has to be a 9 to equal 18. So our 3-cell 18 cages are going to have 9s. Now we have a 9 here pointing here, so this must be the 9, and this must be the 8. Do we have any other 18 cages? No, I don't see anything. How about our 13s and 14 cages? Well, we got a 7 here, so this has to be 6. Where's our other 13s? This here has to be 6. And don't see another 13. Let's look at our 14s, because we have a 9 and a 2, so we've got 11, so we need to have a 3 here, which means one of these two has to be 3, but there's a 3 looking at this, so we get our 3 and our 2. I think that was the only other 14. Now, what about that 15? This 15 cage right here. We've got 8 and 6 already, which is 14, so we must have a 1 on the other. And what else do we have left? This 12 cage, so there's a 1 in the middle of that one, so we have to put 1 there. And therefore, we have 4 now, so we have to have an 8 on the other side of it. So this one has to be from 3 and 8. We've got an 8 looking in here, so this is 3 and this is 8. And we get our deep, deep doot in the corner. Now, we can probably just start jumping more into Sudoku. I mean, what we can say, we have a 5 in our second position on these 21s. So that would mean the second position in this 21 cage is either one of these two. We have a 5 here looking at this, so this must be the 5. And therefore, we have the 5 is next to our 6, so therefore this must be the 6. Now, do we know what these other 2 digits are? We've already got 11, so we have to get 10 more. In here, the only way to make 10 more is 7-3, actually, because we can't do a 9-1, 8-2, or 6-4, so this has to be a 7-3 pair. We don't have anything looking there, but this is also a 7-3 pair, so we end up having the 3 here and the 7 here, so we can finish that 3 and 7. Now, the only box we have left over is this 18 cage, and we can probably just start using somewhat basic Sudoku to see what these digits must be. So we have to have a 2 in this region somewhere, and this 2 sees these, so this has to be a 2. So therefore, we know the 2 is in the second position. There has to be a 7 next to it in the first or last position, whatever it is. This is second or third position, I guess is a better way to put it. So this here has to be our 7. Now, what else can we do? We know we have 9 in here. We have to have 9 more. And we can't do the 8-1. We can't do a 6-2. What did I just say to myself? We can't do an 8-1. We can't do a 7-2. We can't do a 6-3, so we're going to have to do a 5-4, and therefore this has to be the 4, and this has to be the 5. And therefore we can put our 4 and 5 in. And then after that's all set, it looks like we can just go with our Sudoku and finish things off. So this should be 1. I think the 1s are now completed, correct? Can we finish off our 2s? Not quite. Let's look at our 3s real quick. And we do get 1 here. And we get 1 here, and we get 1 here. Okay, so now we can finish this off as a 4. We can put a 9 here. We can put a 7 here. We can put a 4 here, and we can put a 9 here. Therefore, we can put a 2 here and a 6. What else do we have? These 2 digits have to be from 2 and 7. And we've got a 2 here, so 2, 7. These two digits now we have left are 4 and 5, I do believe. I do not know which one is which at the moment, so that doesn't help me too much. Up here we end up with 4 and 7. We've got a 7 right there, so this must be 4 and this must be 7. This is a 8 to finish off that region. This row must have a 9 in it. This region must have a 4 in it. This column must have a 5 in it. Okay, so these two digits we're looking at 4 and 7. So we've got 4s and 7s down here, so 7 and 4. Then we can finish off both these columns with a 6. 6, it's a misclick, and an 8. And therefore we can figure out what these two are going to be probably. They're 2 and 9. We've got 2s and 9s looking here, so 2 and 9. And what about these two in the column now? We've got 7 and 5. So we've got to put 5 here and 7 here. That's going to finish our 4 and 5. And then we can finish off our puzzle with a 4 here and a 6 here. And this, you saw that the solution is correct. You solved the puzzle. So not a difficult puzzle by any means, but it was still quite a bit of fun. I thought there was, it was a good rule set that was put into place here. It can probably be expanded a bit to be a bit more difficult. I'm sure that will occur as more people are looking at this style of a rule set. I don't think it's necessarily, I can't recall if I've seen something similar to this or not, to be honest with you, but I think it has a ton of potential. Like I said, while this one was fairly simple, it was a good introduction to the copycat type of cage. So I hope you all enjoyed that one, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks, bye.